Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Now, here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. And an SMF is Smart Men Flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. You can use the chat box to enter your comments or questions, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. And I understand sometimes I can't get a word in myself. So be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do that during a live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday, starting at 6:45 p.m. Standard Time. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, now, if you happen to enjoy the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building and flying videos that Sparky does on this channel, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and when you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all. And don't forget to join our YouTube memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month. That's just less than 17 cents a day. And I'm a member myself, so I have the $4.99 come out of my checking account every month, and I don't miss it, and I suspect you won't miss it either. Okay. Then you also could use the super chat, which is located over here, and that's where you can donate any amount you like. And please donate, please support the program. And last but not least, please keep the conversations family room friendly. Oh, but matter of fact, before that, let me get back to, if you want to get in touch with me, see, this is Sparky's channel. I'm only in here twice a week. So if you want to get in touch with me, hopefully have some critiques or suggestions, some topics, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters are there, and go to, there's a video that Sparky shot. It's the 2019 AMA National Championship video, and you can see me doing this stunt pattern. And let me know what you think of it. It was I think I only had like 3 or 4 patterns on that plane. Had to change the handle, and anyways, it was my first official flight on the grand stage, and I was taking very well care of Sparky's plane. So I could have maybe, if I had more time, maybe would have taken it down a little lower, but it was a highlight of my career to fly at the Nats. Anyways, that video was shot by Sparky, by the way, and it's on his YouTube channel as well. Anyways, without any further ado, please keep the conversations family room friendly, and let's talk about model aviation exclusively. And without any further ado, let me post the link at stunthangar.com. And the link's posted there, so hopefully you'll be able to tune in. And let me see, let me go to Sparky's YouTube channel and go to the what I call the control panel. I see someone's already there. Jack Snavely, thank you. Just a second. Let me get to where I need to go here. Hope everybody's had a good week and looking forward to an even better weekend, hopefully. I went flying today. It was pretty good. We had 4 of us out there. Keith Bozell, myself, Carl Reed, and Joe Mata. And it was a little windy, not excessive. And it was a nice day. I actually took out my white Strega. You know, I've retired the red Strega. It's just the front end is suspect. So I really got to build a new fuselage if I'm going to use that wing again. And hang on just a second. I got to do a little editing. I forgot to change the title of this live stream. Just bear with me just a second here. So we are streaming, looks like, and we have 7 concurrent viewers, 2 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please smash that, kick it, push it. And then we have Jack Snavely in here. He says, zooming in on the live stream. Hello, all fans and pilots and tubers out there. And he has a bunch of airplane emojis out there. How's my volume and my video look to you, Jack? And it looks like the connection's excellent. And let's see what happens. Hopefully we have some of the usual suspects come in, and hopefully we get some new people in here as well. Okay, got that. And let me bring up so I can see what's going on here. There we go. All right. So we are live on YouTube. So anyways, getting back to the white Strega, you know, it's almost like starting all over again. I haven't flown that white Strega. By the way, it was built by Reuben McBride, one of our usual guys, Stephen McBride's father, Reuben. He built it, and him and I become friends. And his son, Stephen, didn't really care for the plane, so Reuben gave it to me, minus an engine. I think he had a Rojet in it prior. I don't know what size. And hey, Gary, thanks for coming in, Gary.
Hey.
Sorry, I've been so busy, Gary. I haven't had a chance to get back to you.
That's okay.
But I know I really did like number 14, but I haven't seen the other ones either. But I really liked 14. I just glanced at it. And so how you been?
Good. Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody that I went flying today with my white Strega. So I have 2 Stregas, and I refer to them. One is predominantly red. That's the one I've been flying for the last 6-7 years. That's the one that has all the flights. I mean, and it's worn out. And this other plane was built from a kit from Reuben McBride. You know, Stephen McBride,
Mm-hmm.
his dad built it in 2006. So it's it has some age on it, but hey, the plane flies pretty good. And now, unlike the red Strega, which had the Stalker 81, this has a motor called a K77. You might not be familiar with it. It's an engine that was designed or commissioned by Casminato. You ever heard of Casminato?
Heard of the name, yeah.
Yeah, Casminato is I think he's a world famous control line pilot. I don't know how well he's done in the world championships, if he ever won the world or not, but I know he's done very well at the Nats. I don't know how high he's achieved at the Nats, but he's a renowned flyer. So he commissioned a motor called the K77. Now, some people have said it's a clone of a PA75, and I've heard that. I think I read somewhere that Randy Smith says that is no, you know, it's not a clone of a PA75. But I like the motor. It's about 1.8 ounces lighter. So that changes things a little bit as opposed to the heavier Stalker 81. But the Stalker is a much more powerful motor. I mean, the Stalker can comfortably throw a 15-inch prop. I've cut those down to like 14 and a quarter and used them before I wore the red Strega out. Now the K77 doesn't have the power that the stalker does. So I'm right now using a 13-inch prop on the K77, and I'm actually going to cut it down about a quarter of an inch, maybe down to 12 and 3/4 to see if I can get the kind of performance I want. Hopefully I don't cut it down too much that I lose too much thrust, so I will continue on next week on the white strig with the K motor. But today I put about 4 flights. And what happened to you, Gary? Gary, you just ducked out. So anyways, let me just continue on until we get some people in here. Oh, I see the person, I believe he's from, I can't remember the name of that country, Azerbaijan, something like that. Can't remember the name of that country, but I see him here. And hello. I wish I knew how to speak your language and communicate to you, but I appreciate you coming in. And I appreciate you coming in, Jack. Anyways, I was going to say that today with the white Strega, and I hope this is not too boring for people. I'm just filling in until I get our usual panel in here. Today was, I went out there first with a 13.6 prop, and then I went down to a 13.5 because it just seemed like it was, I want to see if I get a little better performance out of the 13.5. And then I ended up taking the head off, and I found that motor had 3 head shims in it. And so I took out 2 head shims, which just would sound very familiar because about 3 weeks ago, I did the same thing with the new Stalker motor I had. It had 3 head shims in there as well. Removed 2 head shims, and then of course the compression was so hard that when I flipped it through, I compromised the front end of the plane. Fortunately, when I flipped the K77, it's the increase in the compression wasn't so substantial that I broke the nose off or anything, but I did notice that the motor performance increased, so I'm going to keep it that way. I removed 2 because I thought if it was too much, I always would put one back, as opposed to taking one off and then thinking, okay, well, that's good. Let me try another one. So I just went ahead and went and removed 2 of them. And I'm happy with that. So I learned that trick from Wendy Ranowski to taking off 2 as opposed to taking off 1, because sometimes you'll just save yourself a step. In this case, I did. But anyway, so with the increased performance, I'm looking forward to flying the plane more. Now, I didn't work on the SV11. I think last Monday we had a lot of conversation early in the show about the SV11 and how I discovered that by lifting the elevator up, I could see that there was flexing, there was some give. Because what you really want in a control system in a stunt plane is when you hold the flap down, you don't want the elevator to move at all. I mean, preferably not at all. Maybe a tiny bit, but I prefer none. And with the SV11, when I hold the flap down, I can deflect the elevator up. I can't deflect it down, but I can deflect it up. So I haven't fixed that yet. I wanted to use an endoscope or a borescope, small camera hooked up to my phone, and I couldn't get one to work. And then I was able to get it to work with my laptop, but the cable was too short. So I just got a longer cable today. And so hopefully this weekend, maybe next week, I'll start to be able to put the camera. It's a small, like 3mm camera, down inside the fuselage and actually see what's happening. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Hopefully that will expose where the deflection is. I'm not sure if it's deflecting at the elevator horn, like I'm not sure who it was who suggested that it might be that. It might have been Howard Rush, or it might be the push rod flexing. So hopefully once I get that fixed, the SV11 should be something else. I expect it to be maybe even my favorite airplane. If I fix that flexing, I might really like that plane. But we'll see. I know the way it turns on outsides. If I can get it to turn like that on the insides as well, Whew, that'll be something else because my Stragers don't turn like that SV11 does. So we'll see what happens. Here comes Gary Sinclair back. So maybe hey Gary, what happened to you? You just ducked out on me.
Yeah, I lost you. Everything stopped. Could you see me moving or anything?
No, I was just talking. All of a sudden, it was just me. You know, like when it's two of us, my size is, I'm sharing it with you. We're about the same size.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I just went big and I didn't see you at all. So I couldn't see you moving or anything.
Yeah, it just stopped and I waited, and then
Well, the important thing is you're back.
yeah, I got back.
Yeah.
What happened?
Now, there's no problem with the link I have in the at stunthangar.com, right?
Don't think so, no.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out why.
I was able to get back pretty quick.
I'm just trying to figure out where everybody else is at. That's what I was wondering, because by now someone else would be in here by now. But that's okay. Well, if it's just you and me, we'll just hang.
I guess that.
We have no choice. Looks like Phillip Bailey is coming in.
Oh, last week when he was about ready to close down the meeting.
Yeah.
Just before you closed it down, mine went off. My Wi-Fi went off.
Wow. Hey, Phil, thanks for coming in.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm about to sign off in a minute and get this thing to my ears to work because it's coming on the speaker on the computer instead of my earplugs.
Okay.
But I'll be back in a minute.
All right, no problem. No problem. Thanks for
All right, we'll see you in a minute.
See you in a minute.
All right.
I might can do it this way. Wait a minute. Oh, we go to settings and go to display.
So, Gary, have you been looking at any airplanes? Have you been watching any of the windy?
Yeah, I watched you fly the other day. Just come up on my YouTube thing. Yeah.
Oh.
So
now was it the Red Stringer or was it me flying Sparky's Junar?
No, it's where you fly there in California, there where you go fly. Yeah.
Yeah, I have about just.
You did pretty good, I thought.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's pretty good if you see him fly. If you see him fly a Strega, he's pretty good. If you see him fly that Junar, he's gonna be a pain in the butt before it's over with.
Yeah, I would love to have had more time, and if I wasn't so concerned about, I just did not want anything to happen to Sparky's plane.
Well, no, I'm always that way too. But you'll get one eventually. You'll get one you built yourself that you first thing you're so scared of it because you don't want to damage it. It's just my pride and joy. And then you get to where, all right, if I keep doing this, I'm going to really destroy it. I've got to go ahead and just fly it. And you get to flying it, and then that's when you start getting really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie, thanks for coming in. Long time no see.
Yeah, you've been busy.
You hippie boy, you've been fishing.
Well, I was last weekend.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that too. I've discovered spotted bass. They about ruined me. I don't even want to fool with a largemouth anymore. Them spots are too much fun to catch.
Yep.
But to do any flying?
No, I haven't done any flying. I do have all the wood that I need except for my hardwood to start building the JB Special finally.
That's going to be a pretty airplane.
Yeah. And I did get another kit in the mail Tuesday, I guess it was, Tuesday or Wednesday.
What'd you get?
I got me
Uh-oh.
A ringmaster. Let me make you big, Eddie.
Is that a big one?
It's the 42 inch. That's the
S1.
The S1A.
S1A.
My brother has a ringmaster, so I figured I better get me one so we could go out and fly on do the ring of fire thing.
Yes. Eddie, just so you know, your network bandwidth is low.
Yeah, they've been working on it today. We finally just got cable back. It's been out since the 27th. So
Oh, good grief.
yeah, AT&T was working on the pole out there and they yanked our wires out. Took them 8 days to figure it out, but anyway, on this Rainmaster, it has the sheeted leading edge. So it's got the sheeted leading edge, but the sheeting on the leading edge. The leading edge is a diamond cut. It's diamond shaped leading edge.
Right.
I have two pieces. In the kit. One fits, the other doesn't. One is too big. It's two different size diamonds. So my thought was to get one of the oh golly, the CRS again.
Is that a build-up fuselage there?
Right. The drafter, the little templates that they use has all the circles and the squares and the triangles and stuff like that.
Yeah, template.
Okay. Yeah, the templates. And get that and find a square that will match up and just cut all the diamond ends off of the ribs to make them square, to use just a square leading edge and round it off. You think that would work?
You know, when you're saying,
I'm not going to be able to find.
When you're saying diamond, you're just talking about a square stick of balsa. It's just tilted on. It's just tilted on side.
No.
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 Yeah, it's really diamond
It's
shape.
diamond shape.
Wow.
But
I've never seen one like that.
Neither have I. I've seen square ones tilted.
And see, you can tell the difference in the. Let's see if I can get them up here where you can. See, this one right here is the size it needs to be. I don't know where this big one come from. I don't know if y'all can see the difference in the sizes or not.
Kind of hard to see it, Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, they're two different sizes. So
wow.
My thing was to take the ribs. I don't know if you kind of hard to see it, not focusing on it, but take the ribs where they're cut out for the diamonds right here and get them all punched out and make it square, make it a 90-degree and just put a square in it and then round it off like the normal 35 size planes that were the ones like the Banshee. It has a square leading edge.
Yeah.
A little more work to it, but I believe it'd be easier than trying to come up with a diamond shaped.
I believe you're right, Eddie. That's going to be a pistol.
It's not like I can call Sterling and say, hey, I got this piece missing out of my kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had a micro table saw, you could just lay the blade at 45 or whatever, and
well, I've got that micro table saw, but it doesn't. I don't have the. My blade will just go up and down. It doesn't have the angles to it.
Okay, mine does. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I probably did.
I didn't get that fancy with mine. I just wanted something that'll cut a straight line.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it'd probably be easier just to do the straight cut and just modify it for just a square.
I can't chop it off straight and use a, do it that way, because then I'm losing my cord.
Now, what I'm saying is it might be easier to go ahead and patch it like you're saying, and then cut a square at them, because every leading edge, the difference is all from the spar back on a Ringmaster. The noses, every one of them is the same. Oh, I like that front end on that plane, Brandon. That is nice. Brendan, I'm sorry. Anyway, but I believe that's what I do. I just go ahead and change it and make it that way. I mean, it's a sheeted leading edge anyway. Some of the contests, some of the contests are not going to let you fly that thing in old time. You can fly it in Ringmaster and fly the AMA pattern with a Ringmaster with it, but some of them won't let you fly that plane as an old timer because it's not the original old time pattern or original pattern plane. But the way they're doing now, I don't know why not, because I went to a contest and had to fly against an old timer that had a foam wing, a Ringmaster with a foam fully sheeted wing. So
and that's not original.
Not even close. So, hey, there's Big John. How the heck are you, Santa Claus? I mean, he's incognito, Big John.
Don't give away my secret.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I about let the cat out of the bag there, didn't I?
I'm doing well, and thank you for asking.
Good
hey,
to
good
see
to
you,
see
buddy.
you, John. And hello, Brandon and Angstrom. Thanks for coming in, you guys.
Hey, all right. Good evening, everybody.
I saw
And
Mike there for a while, but he's disappeared again.
Yeah,
hey,
Mike.
Look at here.
And we
Sir,
got
Bobby
Bob,
Hunt.
and we have Al Fierro. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in.
Good to see you, Bob.
Yeah.
You too, Mr. Al. Lord
Great
goodness.
minds all work alike.
Oh Lord, I'm in a big trouble then. 'Cause I ain't gonna be on the same wavelength for the rest of you. I don't know how great my mind is lately. I've done some things lately that's quite questionable, to my pocketbook especially.
It happens to all of us occasionally. There's just something we have to ask.
I mean that.
Hey, Bob, how you doing, Bob?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing
Good.
well.
Doing great.
And how you doing, Al? I see you've multiplied. You're like a rabbit. There's two. Well, now you're back to yourself.
Eddie
There was two of you a minute ago.
He was a crazy rabbit there for a minute.
It wouldn't load, and all of a sudden I got like 10 Zooms all at once.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Oh.
I just saw, not to be modeling or anything, but if you knew him, I just saw that my good friend Bill Calkins passed away about a week ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Didn't know
Who
that.
did?
Bill Calkins.
Oh no.
Yeah. He's most well known about as a carrier pilot and designer. And he also flew stunt though in the Midwest in the 80s. I flew stunt with him, same class and that throughout the contest in the Midwest while I lived out there. And it shocked me to see him gone. I always remember this young guy that was hale and hearty. He was a CAD draftsman long before I was. In fact, his recommendation of me to John Brodak started my career with designing and drawing plans for Brodak. So it was a shock to see him gone. But I guess it's a sign of the time. One of these days it'll be me or you or somebody else we know.
Yeah.
So I'll get off that now and get to happier.
That's why my wife says, "Why are you doing all this?" I told her it's just pretty much the same thing. One of these days I'm going to wake up and not be able to do it. And I want to get it done while I can.
Yeah, I know several guys that have got to the point they can't fly the pattern anymore because they get dizzy and fall over when they get up overhead. And Gordon's that way. He's he has how do you put it to me? because he's been flying a little bit, but he says he gets Brent Williams out there, and Brent grabs hold of his belt when he's got to do the overheads, leans back and holds him up.
Wow.
Has he flown the twin yet?
Say what?
Has he flown his twin yet?
Not as of the last time I talked with him, but that there's been a couple of days, 3 or 4 days or so that have gone by since I last talked to. Actually, I talked to Brent, and he's got little problems. You know, as a motorhead, you know, when you're working with a twin, you got to get those motors well matched, and that's what he's working on. He's got a brand new pair. He's actually got 4 of those motors right now. He's able to find, well, actually, he got 2 of them from me because I had 4 of them. And so that he could come up with a matched set. And that's where electric really shines over IC.
That's the reason I decided to do mine electric.
Yeah. But Gordon is a motorhead. He enjoys messing with the motors. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
So
what engines are you using?
Using the Magnum 15 XLs.
Okay.
They're the little ball bearing 50, turning 15,000
Good gracious.
on an 8.
Dallas guys use those engines in racing.
Yeah, yeah.
They got Dallas event, and they love that engine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get a good engine and then they stop making it, you know?
It seems like that's the norm anymore. So
Well,
you
yeah.
find out it works, they quit making it.
Yeah.
Brendan, what size motor are you going to use in that?
I've got an Exceed rocket. I can't remember. I think it was a 900 kV. I think it was an 880 kV, but I don't remember the sizing on it. Actually, I can read through here. It's a 3020 860 kV.
And that's in a 2220 front end?
That's
Wow.
a pretty hefty motor for that airplane.
Yeah, it's in this twister.
You got a throttle.
Wow. That's going to be a lot of motor for that airplane. I was thinking about putting either a 2820 or a 2826 in mine.
Bob, a question for you.
Yeah.
How's your twin coming along? Your new one?
What's that?
How's your new twin coming along?
It's coming out great. I'm just about ready to shoot primer on it.
Oh, cool. You've flown it, right?
No, that's the other one.
Oh,
yeah, the other one I've flown. Yeah, that one's in the bank. I've got a retract one that I'm going to be painting here in the next. I'm going to be starting to prime it this week.
Is that the one with twin rudders?
Yeah,
or
the twin rudder one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've seen it. I'm anxious to see this
one.
new. I'm anxious to see this new one that makes that one look like a box. I got to see that.
Yeah, that's not going to happen this year, unfortunately, because the control system we're putting in that's going to take probably about 3 or 4 months to develop and get manufactured. It's a whole different kind of control system, so it's going to be a while on that one.
Is it something like the one Tran's using?
No.
Well, I got to see this. It's the first time in my memory, as long as I've been in the hobby, and I've been in it since I was 9, and I'm getting up there a little bit now. We've always just had a bell crank, a 3-inch bell crank, and then we went to a 4-inch bell crank. I've never used a 5, but I know a lot of people do. But all of a sudden, I see Trans that's got this thing that the bell crank runs 2 different arms, and it runs 2 different rods, and wow. And then now I hear there's other control systems coming. It's getting exciting. These control systems could be a boom to this thing, you know.
Well,
The precision part of it.
No predictions. I'm just mine actually does have 2 arms and 2 rods, but I'm not sure what he's doing. But maybe it's parallel development. But I won't be able to get it manufactured as light as I want to get it done. John Hill and I are working together to hopefully get this thing breadboarded and see what the weight's going to be. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of adjustment in it, tremendous amount of adjustment.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think I mentioned this here before. One adjustment that we have had on profiles, but we don't have it in full-bodied airplanes, and I'm not so sure we even use it on the profiles, is the length of the push rod from the bell crank to the flap horn.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one dimension that's one adjustment that's generally not, available, and that's maybe the one we needed most of all.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I've got one I've been passing around in my head. I've got to breadboard it up and try it out and see if it actually works. But the whole concept is the flaps will be driven from the center of the flaps. They'll have a horn on each flap so everything's out where it's adjustable.
Yep.
And then the push rod going to the elevator will be in the fuselage as normal. But I'm going to try to make all the adjustment be able to be done at the center, at the bell crank flap horn setup.
Yeah, that's what the RC guys do essentially with their ailerons, is they have them, a servo out in the wing that drives the aileron from the center or near the center of its, its mounting. Yeah, that would be a good thing for us because, typically we're driving the flaps, historically, we've driven the flaps from the root.
Right.
And you have a torsional load there. And that's why some people have tried to use carbon tubes and things like that on the leading edges to prevent any kind of torsional twisting of the flap.
Yeah.
Well,
First time Al Raby showed me that, I thought he lost his mind, but I came home and looked at it and built one up. And I'm bad about building models, not the airplane, just a model of just a flap and testing just that. It's so much stronger, but I still don't think it's the answer because it's too heavy.
Well, if you get the weight down, if you can get it to work properly and have it drive near the center of the flap, you don't have to worry about tweaking your flaps because you can adjust.
Independently adjustable, yeah.
Right. And so there are some good things that can come out of it. But the key of the way I'm trying to do it is I've got to breadboard it up and see if it actually works like my poor little brain says it might.
Well, it sounds neat. I mean, there's a dozen ways you could do that. Come off the bell crank in front of the pivot on one side and behind the pivot on the other. And just drive them that way and then make it adjustable in and out and make it adjustable lengthwise. Run that out to a bell crank and then 90-degree bell crank and run that back to the center of the flap. Anything like that should work. I just worry about it being the slop that comes in all these different. The more joints you have, the more slop you have. I learned that from flying scale. Don't ask me how.
Yeah. Well, you're tuned in it. You're right where I started at. What I'm also trying to do is try to get some exponential in the flaps by the way the flaps are driven.
Yeah.
And that's what I've really got to see is if I can drive the flaps and get the exponential and leave the exponential out of the elevator and do it a lot lighter than what's being done right now and a lot easier to make.
I think it can be done. It's just going to be put the time in doing it. Exactly.
And so I know Bob is very, he doesn't work with dummies.
Bob's pretty sharp, but he knows some really sharp people.
Yeah.
Amongst the people I work with, I am the dummy.
It's a good place to be in. That's a good place to be in.
Bob, I'm not gonna agree or disagree with that, but I met one of your buddies, and I'm not gonna tell you which one, but he is a think tank guy.
Yeah, I know a few, and the more
Mr. Pappas.
Yeah, Mr. Pappas is incredible, and there's a few others out there. I tell you, who's really impressed me a tremendous amount is Rick Huff.
Anybody know Rick Huff? Yeah, met him one time.
He has come up so fast. He was basically a beginner 6 or 7 years ago,
Mhm.
and couldn't even do, just loops and eights, figure eights, lazy eights. And last year he was the rookie of the year, and he's come up with retract twins and twin designs that are, just outstanding. I mean, I flew his Bel Air twin, and it's one of the best flying airplanes I've ever flown in my life. And he continues to come up with lots of great ideas for building and finishing, and all kinds of things. He's really smart.
Mhm. There's a lot of smart guys around. Too many of
He
us,
paid
I'm
me to
afraid.
say that too.
Yeah. Too many of us, I'm afraid, are kind of stuck in the old ways and used to doing it one way. We don't look to the future, look to expand. We just try to get better at the way we have always done it. And I think that's a mistake in this day and time. I think we need to experiment more.
Oh yeah. Always got to
Well,
try
That being
something.
said, I do it the same old way I've always done it.
there's something said to staying close to the old way, because you're working on the shoulders of giants that went before you. That's a
That's
quote
true.
from something I read. But you also can take a little step out this side, a little step out that side, come back to what is a known, and you have a very good judge of whether you're making progress or not. And so, some guys want to jump way out to the far reaches and play around out there, and they've got nothing to gauge themselves by.
Yeah.
And so, there's room in this hobby, there's room for all kinds of different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
I never liked sewn hinges till I saw a plane on some set of plans, old time. I'm talking about 1947, where the guy did sewn hinges. You could tell they were sewn, but the way he finished them and the way it looked good. It looked good.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I know that sewn hinges, those elevators are loose. They're not loose, they're flopping over, but there's hardly any resistance to the up and down on them. They're
Yeah.
So makes me want to take a closer look at sewn hinges. If I could make them look half as nice as he did, it might be worth the effort.
We've got a guy here that is not known as a great builder. He's not a great flyer, but he's using multicolored tissue and doing some of the most intricate multicolored tissue jobs I've ever seen. He does use sewn hinges, and I asked him about the hinges because I couldn't figure out what he was doing them with. He uses dental floss.
Yeah.
And does a beautiful job. And
mitt
just-
or
I asked the same question.
Waxed
Howard.
or not waxed?
Heavy duty.
Not
Heavy duty
waxed. I
waxed
do know that.
minted dental floss.
Yeah, it's not waxed, but the minted, he said, that's my little secret. So I don't know, but he's a little crazy. He's a little crazy.
You got to Howard's funny bone.
Yeah, it's the only reason I get along with him so well. He's a little crazy, but I'm telling you, there's some guys doing some wicked stuff right now. There's some stuff going to be coming out. I mean, I think it's going to get popular, but there's some stuff that people are working on right now that is so different from the way I've ever done it. It amazes me that somebody didn't come up with it years ago and we haven't been using it. But like new bell crank materials and new bell crank ways of building them. And I bought one of those metal ones that had the balsa inside it, and it came all to pieces. But they told me that it was because the balsa was laying in it in the wrong direction and glued in incorrectly. I don't know.
Yeah, it needs to be the grain needs to be going from the one side to the other side or inside.
That makes sense.
That
makes sense. It was laying there this way. And
yeah,
I should have known.
That won't
I
work.
didn't even think to check it before I put it in the airplane. But once I destroyed the airplane, I got to looking, and that's what happened. The bell crank had just come apart. But
Phil, back in the day, I know Bob remembers this, and you might, but Bob and I are probably the oldest ones on here now. But there were a lot of secrets in stunt.
Oh God, I remember that.
And guys they hung up. Look at the Strathmore Club and the I-beam airplane.
Yeah.
there were these secrets, and one of the secrets that I know about from later is about the way to set up your controls, you know, and these guys, the guys that really knew what they're doing, they knew about it and they did it, and they were hard to beat because their controls were very well set up.
Yeah.
The rest of us would get a set of plans and it'd say, use your favorite control system, because Walker still had the patent on the bell crank.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is we've come a long way since then. There are hardly any secrets any longer in stunt design and engineering and all of that. People share their information. And I think that's a step forward. I think that's why we're seeing lots and lots of giant steps at this time.
I think that's why we're still alive. I mean, why Bobby's still alive.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at Tran and with what he's done with his molded airplane and the hardware that he's developed to hold it together and to hook it up.
And that control system, which is infinitely adjustable.
Right.
That thing's ridiculous. It's so simple, but it's so neat.
So, you know, these are being shared. Bob shares his information. I share whatever little information I have. Most people on here, except maybe Howard, will readily share their information. Howard,
there are some people who say some of the stuff I share should be kept secret.
I've heard that. You're a good sport, Howard.
Yeah.
Hey, let me say hi to Howard. I've been waiting to have a chance to acknowledge him. Hey, Howard, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Did you look at the stuff I sent you, John?
Didn't get it. I haven't got it yet.
I emailed it to you.
I have. When did you email it?
About a week ago. As soon as you see the address.
Oh Lord.
It didn't get here.
Look in your spam.
Huh?
Look in your spam folder. It's there.
Okay, I'll look again. But I've been waiting for it because I really wanted to see what you had going there.
So how's your plane coming along, Howard?
Okay, I spent the last trying to get a bind out of my one elevator hinge.
That's always fun.
So what was it? Was it a hinge that was binding?
Yes.
Do you use those barrel hinges, or do you use the Robard, or what kind of hinges do you use? Colette. Okay.
You must have a stockpile of them.
I know somebody who does.
Oh, okay.
So I go beg, whatever.
Go beg for them. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm looking forward to seeing that plane fly.
Yeah,
you and me both.
So you're gonna have removable control surfaces on that plane?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen the, not to change the subject, but have you seen the build post that's going on about the Pathfinder LE that is being built in Brazil?
You know anything about it?
No.
It's on, I think it's Claudio anyway, can't pronounce his last name correctly. I think that's who it is, but it's in the Stunthangar forum, and he's built the wing already, and he's now building the fuselage, and he's built it for electric, so he's modified the nose and that for electric. He's a very good builder, extremely good builder.
That sounds cool. I got a dumb question about that, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why in the world did y'all have a wing that works as good as the Pathfinder wing, and when you built the LE, it's not the same wing?
Well, because what's his name? No, the guy with the salt in that. Norm Whittle. Yeah. Norm Whittle convinced me that there is a really good airfoil to be used. And to be honest with you, I can't remember what it is right now. I'd have to look at my paperwork. And so that's the airfoil that's on the Pathfinder LE.
Okay.
And
I
it
just
works.
wondered because this other one, the regular Pathfinder looks great, and the Pathfinder 40 behind you, that airfoil, you know, the newer wing, the one you sent me, that looks like it's going to be super. So I'm
Well,
just
the
trying
thing
to
is,
figure out. I looked at the LE. I told you it's in the stack to be built.
right.
Like a plan. And I pulled it out. And every once in a while, I just get bored and I pull something out and start looking at it. And I've looked at my poor Genesis until I about looked the ink off the page. I'm about ready to have to redo it. But anyway, I think we built 3 of those darn things. But anyway, I was looking at that thing and I looked at that airfoil and I said, well, I wonder what's all about that, because that's not even close to the same airfoil.
Well,
But as long as it works, that's all that matters. But
the thing is
it'll get
that
built.
this airplane back here,
Yeah.
that airfoil was built, that's got a OS 40 FP in it. And it needs, we felt that it needed the drag, or I felt it needed the drag from a thicker wing to keep it from going gaga.
Yeah.
And so that wing is, as you notice, is pretty thick.
Yeah.
If you look at the wing on the LE, that's not as thick.
No, it's not.
And I think that's a better wing for the style and the way that we're flying now with the type of power we're using.
Well, I'm using that same airfoil, but my Pathfinder that I'm flying has a Tiger 51 on it. And everybody says that's too much power, but I mean, she's tight everywhere and just feels so good.
Oh yeah,
but
it's a good engine.
It's not overpowering. My SV11, I've got an SV11 with a Tiger 60. It flies great, but I can only fly it about 5 or 6 times, and I'm so sore I can't.
Pulls your arm up. Pulls your arm up. That's the thing Gordon didn't want. He was known. He had this beautiful twin called the Gemini, and of course he had his early one too much, and they both pull your arm off. This Gemini. And people, I don't know, Bob, I think you got a chance to fly as Gemini.
Yeah, my arm, that was like 20 years ago. My arm is still sore.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. You gotta figure out how to get rid of excess amounts of pull, or, you know, line tension. And so if you notice the planes that Gordon's flying now, because he's getting older, and he was a pretty tough guy, but he's getting older and he can't take the pull anymore. So the planes are getting to be to where they don't pull as hard. They keep adequate tension throughout the hemisphere, but they're designed not to yank your arm off. And that's one of the problems, like the LA Heat, Bob Whiteley's design. It's not a bad twin, but it'll yank your arm off.
Yeah. Well, something that Bob Hunt told me years ago, and he said it on here, so I guess I can repeat it. But he said he does not build yaw in anything that will put yaw in his airplane. So his rudders are straight, everything's built 1-to-1. And I thought, you know, I think the world of Bob, but I think something's wrong there. It don't make sense to me.
Well, there's a lot wrong here, actually, you know.
Well, anyway, as I've gotten older, I keep backing off on the rudder and moving the lines forward, trying to get my planes that I've had for years, that have flown well for years, to be where I can still fly them. You know, you have to back off the tension. And I've got everything about as close to 0-0 as I can get it, and they fly better now than they ever have. So maybe he's not as crazy as I thought he was.
No, he is.
He is, but he's found a way to cover it.
Well, I tell you what, I think he's one of the smartest cats I know as far as control line stunt. And don't get him started on that git fiddle, because he's pretty good with that too.
Well, he had the benefit of having early association with some very great minds in the hobby.
The man, yeah, I know.
More than just the man, many.
I know he introduced me to several people, but the 3 people that have impressed me the most through the years: Bill Werwidge, Bob introduced me. Al Raby, I met at the same team trials. and Keith Trossel. Met him at the same Well, I met him actually in Winston-Salem. But those four guys have influenced about everything I've done for the last 40 years in modeling.
Well, see, Bob hung around with Red Reinhardt and Scarinzi.
Yep.
And
yeah, I met him too, and Scarinzi.
I can't remember a lot of the other guys' names, but
my earliest influences were Larry Scarinzi and Red Reinhardt. As a matter of fact, they're my first recollections of being alive, because Red worked for my dad for 36 years, and anywhere that Red was, Larry was.
Yeah,
and Larry still is a party looking for a place to occur, and he was bigger than life. And but he was also a phenomenal modeler. You know, many people don't realize that Larry Scarinzi was a structures analyst for Lockheed.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he just owned a bicycle shop.
Well, he did in his later life, but when he was in the Air Force, he was a structures analyst, and he's quite brilliant engineer. And though he doesn't want people to know it, I guess, you know, he spent his whole life trying to avoid, people thinking he had any knowledge at all, but he had a tremendous amount of knowledge, and he was one of the most gifted light builders and accurate builders and creative builders I've ever known to this day. As a matter of fact, Al and Tom Luciano invited me to his birthday party. We had about 12 or 13 guys at his 89th birthday party just recently. And he's still sharp as a tack, you know.
I'll tell you what, he's got a wicked sense of humor.
He does. He does. He does. But beyond Larry and Red, the influences, of course, my dad was a huge influence in my life and still taught me more maybe than anybody. But later on, Billy Simons and Gene Schaefer.
Those are the names I try to remember.
Yeah, those were huge influences in my life.
I only got to meet Gene Schaefer one time and talk to him. And I got to talking to him, and then I had to judge. And when his plane took off, how the heck do you judge this? And I told him I had to apologize to him later. I said it was 3 maneuvers in before I got my head figured out as to which way the darn airplane was going. So, I mean, it flipped me out. He does his 3 inside loops, and I mean, they were round. And then he does his inverted flight, and okay, he's finally going the right direction, but he's upside down. So it took me a minute to get that straightened out in my head, but I did give him good scores, and he did do well in the contest. And he looked at the scores, and he said, "What are you fussing about? Hell, you did better than the other guy did." So whatever. He said, "At least yours are even." Because you're kind of down the middle. I said, "Well, if you're gonna judge, if you can't be impartial, and you can't judge not the pilot, but what you see that airplane do, don't judge."
Yeah.
Right.
Schaefer wasn't an engineering kind of guy at all, but he had an innate feel for what worked, and he was perhaps one of the best handled men I've ever seen. I would say up until the time I saw Orestes fly in 2013, Gene was the best handle man I ever saw, but Orestes took over that mantle in 2013 team selections. He was just flat unbelievable.
I think Orestes is probably the best handle man I've ever seen. And I didn't even know what that meant. I've heard you say that before. I didn't know what it meant. So I went, and when I saw him fly, I went and just, y'all hush a minute. I want to see this. And just watch him and see what he does and how he does it. The wind's trying to blow the plane around. It's blowing everybody plumb out of maneuvers. And he just backs up, goes forward and whatever, and just works with it and goes through it like it's not there. The plane is just dead steady, and he is an excellent flyer. That's one guy you're going to have to beat because he's not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
On my YouTube channel, I have a video where I just focused in on Orestes. So if you want to see him, just his handle mastery, just go to my YouTube channel, Flying Control Line Stunt, and there's a video of Orestes at the Golden State Stunt Championships, and I just focused on him. And it is amazing to watch. He is a great handleman. And you guys, I need to take over because the chat, I've been ignoring the chat. I need to catch up. And Miguel, he says hello, and then he says greetings for all from Chile. Well, thank you, Miguel. Thank you for coming in. Then there's another guy from Ciro Perla. He says, can I get the invite link? We have the link. It's inside Stunthangar video hangout. Excuse me. It's inside stunthangar.com/SMF. And the link will be inside At the Bench. So if you're a member of Stunthangar, you can go to the At the Bench link. Make sure you're logged in. Now, if you're not a member, Cyril, you got to register. And I don't know if Sparky is available right now to approve you, but he'll approve you shortly. And then you'll be able to go to the link that's under At the Bench. So that's how everybody in here got in here.
Yeah,
now,
that's how
if
you
I
get in.
knew you personally, maybe I could do that, help you get in. But we have had trolls in the past. We've had some horrendous things when Rusty was managing this. And so just as a precaution, the only way you really can get in is through the At the Bench link. Unless I know you or Sparky knows you, then he could just email you that link. But the way to do it is just through the At the Bench. So, and then Dennis Adamison says, like delivered, joining you in a bit. And then Gordon Delaney says, Ted Fancher asked me the same question. Why didn't I use the profile airfoil? Good question. And John Miller answered that completely. And then Chris Moscow, I think, he says, hey guys, Mike is not around tonight, so I'm tuned in on you on YouTube. I don't know which Mike you're referring to. If you're referring to
Lonky.
Mike Lonky or Mike Millard.
Minnesota Mike.
Or Minnesota Mike, yeah. So then we have Banshee 15. He says, D-O-O. So we're all caught up. And I think, hey, thanks for coming in, Dennis. Appreciate that. Thanks for the like. You're one of the VIPs. The VIPs, they give me the likes as well as coming in. So all you guys to do that, you guys are very important people. It helps the channel grow, the analytics. Appreciate you very much. And right now we have 32 concurrent viewers and only 15 likes. So we have people, half of you like what we're doing and the other half do not.
Yeah,
and,
16 now.
Thank you. Now we're 17. So hit or smash the like button. And don't forget the super chat is there in the chat box, the big $ on the bottom. You can donate that way. And then subscribe and share the videos. All these help this is not my YouTube channel, by the way. This is Sparky's YouTube channel. And this is how you can help the channel grow.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
Al Ferraro's holding up a meat announcement.
Yeah. Let me make you big, Al. Middlesex. Modelers. Control line combat. All right.
Okay, so I printed out, I gave one to Larry because we didn't have the posters yet. Because and Larry really liked it. He gave it at his birthday party. Bob, you saw this, but this is the actual poster that
is
Roger Baker.
That is a cool poster.
Yeah,
I see a.
So we had our contest last week after a month delay, and he gave us the posters.
Oh, fantastic!
It's like a shiny, like a matte finish. It's very nice.
Who's that guy in the lower left corner? Who's the guy, the gentleman there with the baseball cap?
Okay, well, this is Chip Giordano. He passed away, and he's the one that he sort of resurrected the Pinelands Combat Field in Jackson, and this at 488 Bowman Road. So he's got it all up and running, so we could fly our planes there again. And I he gave me all the information, contact people with the town and everything, so we could still hold our combat contests there. Because it's out in the middle of the woods. As it says, the Pinelands. It's all pine trees down there.
Very cool. So I see the Super Satan. What else is on there? What other plane is in there?
Well, let me see. I can't point to it. So that's my slasher.
All right.
That's Jim Vergani's Double Diamond. That's Larry's Super Satan. That's what a Renegade somewhere. Let me see right there. I think there's.
I gotcha.
Let me see. Yeah, gotcha. I think this one's a Nemesis down here that you can.
All right, Howard Rush, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to hold it in.
I know you're doing a good job. I know it's not easy.
I got it. You know, it's very glitchy. My
Is that a voodoo in front?
yeah, probably a voodoo or something. Let me take a look.
I don't think it's
The elevator looks a little weird, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking. The elevator is not looking like a voodoo.
Behind Super
Hey,
Satan.
but thanks, I appreciate that.
He did a beautiful job, you guys, and he did this like in one day.
Wow.
Because he sent me an email and then he asked me for what kind of planes do we fly and stuff like that, and I sent him I texted him a few pictures, and like 6 hours later he gave me a rough sketch. And that, I mean, more than a rough sketch. It looked really good. He had everything but Chip's photo in there. And then I asked him, is it okay for me to put it on Facebook? He said he's not quite done with it. And that was like 11 o'clock at night. And then I got a text at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's all done, Next morning, he did a real good job.
Very cool.
And that's the guy for a living, he refinishes Steinway pianos.
Wow.
That's a labor of love.
Yes. He refinishes them, that's what he does. Brand new ones.
Wow.
And then sometimes if there's a problem with other ones, he fixes those too.
That's cool.
That's gotta be, yeah.
Does he also tune them? Do you know if he tunes them?
Say that again?
Do you know if he tunes them?
Oh, tunes them? I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I just heard that he does the refinishing stuff.
Yeah.
You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
There you go. I saw a guy. I went into a woman's house one time and saw her Steinway. I'd never seen a full-size Steinway except in movies. That's a big piano. And she had just spent a blue fortune retuning this thing and having it. I don't know if they refinished it, but they waxed it and all this stuff, really fixed it. And she told me what what it cost to do all this. About a week later, I see this movie and I see somebody tap dancing on top of one of those things. And I had to cringe. And then my buddy who was there with me when I saw the movie says, "Hey, dum, there's a piece of, not plexiglass, but Lexan between the piano and the tap dance, the taps." And I thought, Lexan didn't exist in 1929. So
they could have had glass.
Interesting. I've had a few stunt ships I'd like to tap dance on.
Yeah.
I've had a few I have.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. When you was talking about the secrets, there is a, I don't remember who had it, where it came from, but there was a tape out or film out of a stunt contest, and I think it was a Nats, but I don't know where it was or when it was. Anyway, one of the Detroiter guys crashed his ship, and 4 guys ran over and took their jackets off and threw over the thing before anybody could get over and get a picture to see how that thing was put together.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Billy learned to build I-beam wings. The guys from Detroit were at a contest, Ebinger and those guys, and Bob Daly and Roland McDonald, and they wouldn't let any information out about how to build I-beams. But and he was at the time, Billy was flying a flap-equipped Barnstormer, And one of those guys crashed one of those airplanes, and he ran to the site of the airplane and looked inside before they could do what you just said, cover it up or get it off the field. And that's how he learned to build I-beam wings.
I'm gonna tell you what, from talking to Billy, he didn't need anything but a hint. That man's smart. He's sharp. Now here's the man.
Dennis?
Here, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just want to say hi to Dennis.
Yeah, me too. Dennis, got a question for you. You're the man I need to see. You have built a Mobest.
Yes.
And you designed this front end that I'm putting on it. So give me an idea. What motor should I put in that thing in a badass? I hate that name.
I'd go with a 2826.
That's
I think
what
it's a little hard to get the 35 series in that mount. The Mobest is fairly low profile. I'm putting a 2826 on mine, and that should be plenty of power for it.
Okay, that's what I bought. So I'm hoping that's right. I was hoping that was right.
I've been working on that thing the last couple of days. I've got it in my mind. I want to have the darn thing ready for Brodak. I mean, it still needs to be finished and covered. So
yeah, I built a
past time.
I built a I don't know how to describe it, but below the 2022, there's a cutout. There's a thing. I just went through the fuselage and sawed it out and brought it back for the speed control to set in. Now the timer's still out in breeze. I hadn't figured out what to do with it yet, but the ESC is in a box up underneath it, and it's got a closure that goes on it, and the front's partially open so it can get air in, and the outside's open so it can get air through there. But it still looks froggy. But anyway,
on mine, I decided to try something a little different for me. Anyways, I'm going to keep the timer exposed, but I'm going to mount it on the bottom also, and run just the on-off switch up to the top. And I'll be able to adjust the timer, to be exposed and everything like that. I'm going to use one of the simple, the Brodak Huben timers that's designed for the Brodak ESC. And it'll all be nose up, adjust it, and nose down.
I think that's what I'm going to put on mine, just a Huben, because I have one, and it's I'm saving these expensive ones for the full-bodied stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm still on that page, so it's not really, it's not much of a thing with me, but an FM9 would have saved me some wiring and stuff like that, but I'm trying to use what I sell, if you know what I mean. That's the stuff. That's the stuff that Brodak stocks, and that would be the perfectly suitable, perfectly acceptable, and
okay.
And
let me ask you one more dumb question. If you did a 42, I think it's right, 42, 1.5 time size sport wing. The wing looks great, but the fuselage looks too darn big. Would it mess it up as far as flying it, being able to fly it in old time if you shrunk the fuselage a little bit to make it look more in character?
I guess I'm surprised that it would come out looking too big or anything like that. Now, just for the record, one of Pappy DeBolt's people at the 1950 Nationals flew a 1.5 times sport wing. And he had apparently flew it with is it a Triumph? What was that? Is it an Atwood Triumph? 49?
49.
Yeah. And the airplane flew well and everything like that, but it had the sport wing landing gear, and this guy had never flown it off concrete, and he got to the Nationals, and it was like I guess he had the absolute worst landings in history, and damaging the airplane and everything like that. Wagon. It was literally literally a basketball out there, or more like a Super Ball, I guess.
Wow.
And everything was wrong with the landing gear position and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a heck of a project. If you go as far as old time, I have 3 different sources who identified the man in the airplane and put it there in the contest results and everything like that. And nobody's found a picture or a plan. So my guess imagine it's 1950. I'm going to take this sport wing. That's too little. I'm going to make it 1.5 times as big. Okay, what are we going to do for a fuselage? Well, I got this Triumph motor. It needs to be about,
Triumph motor would have probably fit in it the way it is.
Yeah, well, it would be, not a huge motor, but bigger than the fuselage is probably scaled up around the motor. And I said, well, I think I'll guess it's going to be about to balance it, and then the sport wing is just basically a box fuselage anyway. So
yeah, I think I might just leave it the way it is and put. I'm gonna go electric. It's going to be 20. I think it's going to be a 2820 with
I'd probably do it. It's as I recall, even at 1.5 times, it was still under 600 square inches with a real thin wing.
Yeah,
it shouldn't need a lot of power. So
yeah, I think it'll do it. I put a spar in the wing that doesn't belong there, but it does now.
Yeah,
does
that's
now.
it.
So,
That's it.
It doesn't show when the covering's on it anyway, so it's not going to be a clear wing like yours. I can't. Well, I could do it, but I don't want to do it because I don't want to give everybody. Don't want everybody to see how to build one, because I've already got 4 guys around here asking me questions about it, and I said, I don't want to go and have 4 of these things at the contest. I'd kind of like to have this one,
Yeah,
I'm trying to build for hunters.
I know exactly where you're coming from. So
yeah, so we're going to try to. I'm going to try to keep it under wraps the rest of the season, and just my plan is to bring it out of Huntersville and have some fun. I'm going to bring 3 new airplanes to Huntersville, and that's one of them. So
that's great.
Anyway,
that's great.
It won't be done in time for Brodak, or I would have it there. But I finally did this week, Monday or Tuesday. I finally did get out with Tom and one of the other guys, and was able to get, with my wife's coaching me with the exercises and all, I finally got overheads done. They're not good yet. I don't know if I'm ready to compete, but at least I was able to fly finally for the first time in 13 months.
Very good. That's good news.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Happy for you, man. That's great.
Yeah, it felt good just to get out there and fly again. But
I have a technical question. How do you get your wife to coach for you?
She coaches me doing my exercises, because I'm bad about overdoing it or doing it too hard. Or
I thought you meant coaching you in stunt.
Oh, Lord no. Tom Looper is my coach. He's always been my coach.
Apparently Steve Harris has got his wife trained, and she did such a good job. He won VSC Classic.
Yes.
Wow.
I've seen him quite a few times out here on the West Coast. And you're right. His wife coaches him up. And if my wife was to coach me up, I mean, she would catch every little thing I do wrong, because that's what she does anyways. I mean, every little thing I do wrong,
Gosh, that's never happened to me.
Yeah.
Deborah does not correct you, or
crazy.
Deborah does not find things you do wrong, Dennis.
I'm sorry again.
Your wife is Deborah, right?
Yeah.
Or Debbie? She doesn't correct you on anything, or are you just being sarcastic?
She's not coaching. She's giving me useful guidance. Guidance, not criticism.
There we go.
Useful. You want to be better, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Are you trying to show us something?
I'm just helping. So, yeah. I said, boy, am I in trouble now?
I get it.
I have a message for Gordon, if he's still on.
What's that?
That looks good.
Gordon, if you're still on, I got a nice email from a fellow by the name of Oleg. I take it he's somewhere in the, it could be Poland, Romania, Russia, anywhere around in the Eastern European area. Anyway, it was about his twin, and he said that he sure built a beautiful airplane, and then he wanted to know if the plans were finished yet. And Gordon, if it's all right with you, I'm going to just tell him that I'm still working on the plans, but I'll keep them in mind when they're done. So if he wants to put that on there, just save me a phone call. That looks nice, Farrar.
Yeah, it looks a lot better than last time you showed it to us.
Yeah.
All right, this is what I was sanding on last time, that this is the bottom pan for the perky. You can see this is where the pipe goes. I showed you the engine,
Yes, right.
with the mini pipe. And then I just finished painting that today. And then this is, I'll show you a picture. Hopefully you can see that. Yep.
All right.
Is that the perky there?
That's the perky. It was all stripped down. I had cracks in the back of the fuselage, reinforced it, reglassed it, and bonded it up. And
Al, I'm surprised you're painting it black. And we all know that the fastest color is red.
That looks good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess.
It looks nice.
And this is the same plane that was in the picture.
Wow, great job.
Wow.
Now, what finish is that? Is that a dope finish or?
No, that's car paint.
Very
Car
nice.
paint, and then
You're going to have
the
to.
pan coat.
Al, could we get you to one night tell us some of the secrets of using car paint? Because I know you're getting good light finishes, and I don't know how to do it.
Well, I don't. I mean, I don't do the super light finish thing. It's.
But you get a nice finish
these
because that's a pretty airplane. That's really pretty. I tried to paint an Impact with auto paint. You could say I became one with a spray gun. I don't know what happened, but an 18 ounce finish.
Wow.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
I mean, it's the clear is the heavy stuff. From what I found, the clear is the heavy stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to have you only want to put on like 1.5 coats. And then I've been experimenting a little bit with reducing it. There's like a reducer they have for it, like it's a blender, and it makes it more watery, just to mist it on and that's it. And with electric planes, you don't have to worry about the fuel attacking the plane, just like, except, like this, like on Turkey, this thing gets covered with fuel, inside and out, and it's all over the place, so I make sure I coat this real good. I'm not worried about weight, but,
In the Perky event, are you limited on nitro or can you run all you need?
On the Perky,
Yeah.
it's just 10% fuel.
Okay. So it's not real exotic stuff then. Okay.
No, it's contest supply too.
Okay.
So it's 10%. It's supposed to be 10% nitro and 20% oil.
Mm-hmm.
Just regular. That's the regular racing. That's racing fuel. That's what they use.
Okay.
But and so usually, like at Brodak, they supply it. Or I flew out the Nats this year. They supply the fuel. You have to use their fuel. It's all the same level playing field.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to get out of here, but before I do, I'm gonna change the subject real quick. It's still wood and it's still building. But John, you remember me a couple weeks ago telling you it was Pinewood Derby time?
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
that's nice.
Starsky and Hutch.
That's the judge, isn't it?
No, it's a
Starsky and Hutch.
76. It's a 76
Torino.
Gran Torino.
Gran
Yeah.
Torino.
And
Cool.
Starsky and Hutch.
This is the one I built my son, little El Camino.
Love
Right.
that.
Cool.
That is sharp.
Very nice. Very nice, Eddie.
Should
That's my show and tell. I got to go help my pop, so I'm gonna get off of here and
All right.
It's nice talking to y'all again. I'll probably see you Monday if I can.
All right, sounds
Be
good.
careful,
Thanks,
Eddie.
Eddie, for coming in.
By the
Have a
way,
good one, buddy.
Friday night, one reason I didn't get on here is because I had a tournament and I accidentally shot myself in the leg. So,
Oh,
What'd you
jeez.
do that for?
Wow.
well, I was
target
showing,
of
I
choice.
was showing my son, I was showing my son how to take my pistol apart, but apparently I showed him how not to do it.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you didn't get
So
seriously
anyway,
hurt. I'm glad you're still amongst the living.
yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, it's been
All right.
fun, guys. I'll see y'all on the next one.
All righty. Hey, thank you, Eddie, for
Okay,
coming in.
care.
I shot myself once with a bow and arrow.
Wow.
I didn't know it was loaded.
Wow.
If you want to know how to do a light car paint finish, go to Flying Lines and website and look for the Granderson finish in the stunt section of flyinglines.com.
Granderson's finished. Phil Granderson's. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Thank you, Howard. 'Cause I got to learn how to do something better than what I'm doing. I'm telling you.
Well, there's a lot of product out there. Some of the stuff
That's
is
neat.
really
Yeah.
heavy.
As I went looking and I have discovered that some of it is expensive and some of it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, super expensive. Really expensive.
Guys, let me interrupt.
$500? Seriously, $500 a gallon?
Wow.
Yeah, you don't need that.
No.
You don't need that.
That's about what gas costs, isn't it?
Yeah. Getting there.
Wow.
Guys, let me
Don't-
catch up on the chat box. You guys have been talking so much. I appreciate it. But I've been just been waiting and waiting. And let me interrupt. So let me see here. Let me catch up. I think so Catherine, you know the guy from
Yeah.
he said that he'll be in the after party. He'll be joining us. We have a guy from Malaysia who comes in, and he's really interested. He's on an island by himself. He doesn't have anybody around him for miles to help him fly.
Indonesia.
Thank you.
Jakarta.
And he's actually really enjoying the show and what we're offering and the information. And so if anybody can help, stick around to help him out, that'd be great. And then Chris Moscow, excuse me, says, just for clarification, it's Mike Lonke. I'm the guy he's teaching to fly. You see me hanging
That's who I thought
out
it
in
was.
his
That's
garage
it, yeah.
during the call every couple of weeks. I understand. And then Keith Bozell, he says, thank you. I had a great day. Learned a lot at the field today. Thanks to all. That's a guy that joined us today, Keith Bozell. And he came out with a Ringmaster and he did some flying. And boy, his flying really had us on pins and needles. He was just, the push rod was flexing. So the bottoms of his loops were just, he was just clearing the top of the blades of grass. It was, it was amazing, but he's a lot of fun. And then Banshee 15 says, Chris Moscow, do you know? And then he didn't finish. Oh, do you know Steve Moscow? So Chris, do you know Steve Moscow? Question mark. And then Chris Moscow says, I can't say that I do. So I'm all caught up with the chat box. I think we're at 30 concurrent viewers, 25 likes. And so if you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. If you're watching this as a replay, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and don't forget the join button and the super chats. They're only available during the live stream. So we're back to our regular scheduled programming.
Okay. Charles, I got just a small show and tell here. That's
All
all
righty.
right.
Let me make you big.
All right. And
I'll make
what
you
I've been
big.
doing is I've been working on my big airplane, the one I've flown the last 2 years, and looking for opportunities to improve it. I was flying well last year, but it was a little bit, it was on a nose heavy side, and I had done everything, reasonable to lighten the nose up and everything like that. And I really hate adding lead if I can possibly avoid it. But it's a trike gear airplane, and the one thing up front, it's got a removable landing gear. I decided I would try, I would change it into a tail dragger. All right. And so I removed the nose wheel and the wire. That took about 0.8 of an ounce right at the motor. So that's pretty substantial. But then I took the main gear and I basically unplugged it and reversed them. So instead of sloping back, they're sloping forward. Ergo, tail dragger. I already had the tail wheel mount built into it and stuff like that. The trike gear was actually a last minute addition. But what I wanted to show off is that this is what I had on the airplane before, the nose gear and the 2 wheels. I also decided to change the main wheels.
Okay. Yes.
All right. These are Williams Brothers smooth or Golden Age wheels.
Golden Age now.
Yeah, they got a
Classic
nice
wheels.
little nice hub and stuff. They're actually a little bit heavier than these. These are foam wheels and
I was
stuff.
thinking that. I was thinking those are kind of heavy. I have some of those Williams Brothers wheels.
Yeah, they're
kinda
not heavy. They're not really heavy. And before foam wheels and stuff, they were actually a darn good choice, for lightweight and skinny. But as you can see, that's a pretty substantial difference.
Yes.
One leg plus all that wheel and stuff like that. And Bob has shared his stories about his observations, on battery usage, gear up, gear down. Well, this isn't quite as dramatic as retracting a gear, but that's quite a difference in frontal area. I think that's going to show up in my battery usage numbers. So then got one other thing. This is a project that I got several years ago. It was like a low priority thing, so I treated it that way. And I'm just thinking I need to get around with it. This is a old time stunt design. All right. Let me hold it up there. And the assignment was to draw a set of plans. The Atwood Stunt from 1946. It was designed by a gentleman named Charlie Bruce. I never met Charlie Bruce, but he was kind of legendary around the old time circles around VSC and stuff for a long time. Bob, you might have met him.
Oh yeah, I know Charlie. I knew Charlie really well.
Yeah. But the airplane is really interesting. You get looking at it and stuff. It's a 10-inch chord and a 60-inch span. So it's like a 6-to-1 aspect ratio from 1946. All right. Which is, out there. And then I'm sure it was really, really maneuverable because I want you to check out the control throw here.
Yeah, I see that.
Let's see.
Whoa!
Wow.
Like a break.
Barn doors.
All I can say is that sucker must really turn,
Almost as much elevator movement as the Resties has.
Yeah. Well, I know, I built my sailplanes with 90-degree, flaps. But they only worked one way and stuff. I don't know if I've ever seen an airplane set up with this much throw both ways.
Gee, Dennis, it's odd to see you with a high aspect ratio airplane.
Yeah, I know. Just breaking form, right? And then the other thing, I don't know if this will come out very well. It's got a really unusual control horn. The horn on the elevator is like a loop. It's like a loop of wire. You see that? And then the end of the push rod is like a flat brass.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
It's really kind of an ingenious thing. There's a lot of bearing surface there, brass on steel, on the steel horn and stuff, just soldered to the end of the push rod and stuff. And there's like zero effort in this, zero drag in this control system and all. But I just thought that was an unusual, they didn't go to the hobby shop and buy a control horn in 1946. So that had to be a pretty interesting, addition. So the airplane right now has a single wheel on it. And I'm kind of, scratching my head over that. Did he really build it that way in 1946? Or was this thing, modified and changed over the years and stuff like that? So anyhow, D Hill got this airplane from D Hill with the request to draw a set of plans on it, and there is no drawing of it. He just wanted to have the thing immortalized. This is one of those Atwood. I have no idea what size. Probably a 60 or 64 or something like that. It's got the rear intake. I don't know if you can see that big stovepipe rear intake on it and everything like that.
So that's a Sparky motor?
Yeah, spark ignition. And it looks like everything is built into it. The wiring actually comes out, and there's a set of batteries up here. Looks like he had somewhere along the line, he had picked up using NiCads on it. All right. And, in unusual pilot figure, I guess. But it just struck me as, it's a airplane nobody's seen. Phil, you show up the contest with this and everybody's going to scratch their head, right?
Yeah, that's neat.
And frankly, it looks like it ought to fly pretty well,
I bet it would.
like all old timer. It's a really short fuselage and stuff, but I don't know, no different than any of the others. So I just thought that might be
That's
fun.
neat.
Very
That's neat.
interesting. Thank you very much.
So
Yeah, and I
Dennis,
know,
with
Charles, you've been wrestling with your SV11 and how to get more turn into it and stuff. Maybe you should try that kind of elevator throw.
so
Oh,
Dennis,
that's
I
too
got
funny,
to wondering,
Dennis.
when we're running spark ignition with the battery in there, does that make them electric powered?
I think so.
It's a
Hey,
hybrid.
my brother was all set
It's
to
a
run an
hybrid.
old style brushed motor because the brush is spark, and he was going to run it in Sparky.
Oh,
And he
Lord.
was just going to dare them to kick him out, which of course they would have. But hey,
Yeah.
mine sparks too. What's the difference?
Yeah. Well, I've determined that, I'm going to go belfry bound and buy that kit from RSM and put that 60 Sparky of mine into it.
That's a good flying airplane, Bob.
I saw one of those fly at BSC this year, and it just looked wonderful out there. It just looked.
It does look
really
nice.
cool.
I like the trailing edge of the wing.
Yeah.
It's
do
just
too.
so different from everything else because everybody
Oh,
else
heaven
runs
yes.
an All American or whatever. And
Yeah.
I mean, belfry bound is just so outrageous.
Be prepared to put
Get you a
Oh.
stunt wagon. You want something different? Get you a stunt wagon and learn how to land it.
Be prepared on the belfry bound to put those little balls on the ends of those.
Yeah.
John, do you remember Carl Shoup flying his belfry bound in his
Oh,
wheelchair
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
in a
remember
heavy,
seeing that at
heavy
VSC.
wind out there?
And
I
he
was
flew
kind
it
of wondering
well.
on those outrageous tips there, put little tiny wheels like we do on gliders, training gliders.
Mm-hmm.
You could, I suppose, but Carl had these little balls that he stuck on there.
They were like little foam ping pong balls, weren't they? Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
And
think they
then
were the
he'd
ones
take them
off
off just
antennas.
before the flight, but that kept them from getting damaged and broken off, in the
Mhm.
pits.
In later
Yeah.
days, on.
What's that?
What?
He left them on in later days.
Yeah,
Did he?
I've seen pictures of it in the air with them still installed.
He was a character. He was an interesting guy to talk to. I stopped and asked him, what in the world possessed you to do that thing with all that wingtip? It's different.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly my feeling about it.
He built.
I mean, you fly old time
you know,
stunt for fun, make it as
Yeah.
much fun as you can.
That's it. I still love
Bob?
Fly the Boxcar Chief. I mean, it's just a great old airplane.
Bob,
But
Yeah.
stunt wagons are my favorites.
I'm talking about Bob Whitney.
Yeah, yeah, John.
The package arrived and I'm packaging up the other thing to head back to you.
Oh, great. Yeah, it arrived okay. No problems.
No problems.
Okay, yeah, I put a couple of shipping labels in there if they work for you too, to make it easier for you.
Oh, that'd be great. I haven't opened it yet, but
Yeah, when you rip it open, they're tubed up in there is from two shipping labels, so make it easier for you.
Cool. Well, I just got to find a box to fit it in and get it labeled up and send it over.
Excellent. I
Yeah.
sure hope that looks good on the plane you're doing.
I think it will.
Yeah, if you need more, I can probably get it.
Okay. Well, I think well, it depends. It depends on
Sharp,
how.
Howard.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that stuff I've been that you got. I didn't really use the clear on open bays or anything, just over my canopy area on my little profile. But anyway, others that I've used on that, white and various colors, it apparently is about the same as Econocoat for handling, which I'd never used. I mean, I figured it was a cross between the old solar film and Monocoat. And I found that it really stuck well for putting it on on my electronic iron at 120 degrees Celsius, and shrink it up at 150. It seems to work pretty good.
I'll be right back.
All right, Bob. Thank you.
Well, that's good to know, Bob, because I found that's a low heat covering, and I had mixed reviews on low heat coverings back in the day, but I haven't used them for so long. But I think
my Vector, it's you tap on the wing open bays, and it's your classical drum tightness, without that brittle feel of the old Super Monocoat.
Yeah, well, that I like. So we'll see. I had some, can't remember the brand name of it. It might have been Coverite film, and it was a low temp. I don't know for sure what it's Coverite, but it was a low heat. And the problem was, after about a year and a half or so, the color and the clear plastic film that the color glue was attached to began to delaminate. So
yeah. Something I found with the old solar film way back when, and the way I did it, and I've got one model from back in the day, my little combat kitten. The covering is just fine. It never sagged or anything, no problems with it. And this is from 45, 50 years ago.
Right.
But with those lower temp things, I sort of did it the same way that they do with full-size aircraft covering, when you're using Seconite. And you basically do 2 or 3 iron settings and sequential shrinking of it for the fabric. And those lower temp films seem to respond best that way, and just don't get too high with it, or it seems to, stretch it out too much and it never tightens up again.
Well, that might have been what my problem was. I might have had the heat too high, because I was used to using Monocoat. And I knew it was lower temperature, but old habits are hard to break.
Yeah, like I say, 120 for adhering it, and 150, that's Celsius or centigrade. And I think the Fahrenheit is on the label on the package anyway.
Yeah.
And that seems to work just fine.
Okay. Well, thanks. And like I say, I'll get that out to you here.
No panic. I've got 2 other irons now anyway, so no big rush. Yours will be a spare.
Okay.
Cool. And guys, Monday night I was saying, it's going to be a bit of a stressful week. Tuesday I had a flight test for a commercial student, and it was low IFR all day and everything. We had to wash it out. So we rescheduled for Thursday when the examiner was available, and it turned out to be the only good day of the week. It was almost perfect conditions in the morning.
Oh, great.
And he aced it.
Awesome.
Good.
And the day before I aced my stress test that I was stressing out about. So today I had no problem on my ECG. So Monday I get my medical for my Transport Canada, and hopefully I'll be back to being a commercial pilot, because it elapsed by a couple of days. So
great.
So it's all is good. It's been a good week, but as we expected, the weather is horrible here today. It's been not pouring rain, but steady rain, and winds gusting around 17 to 23 knots, and it's supposed to be over 20 knots, 25 knots tomorrow and Sunday. So there isn't going to be any model flying.
No, sorry to hear
It
that.
sounds like Indiana. So we're putting
Yeah,
up with that forever.
Yes, Bob.
I got a show and tell.
All right.
Let me see if I can turn this so
Let me make it bigger, Bob. Hang on. Ooh, you are showing your.
That is pretty.
Ooh, that looks nice. Oh, that's so.
I can't
elegant.
wait to see this thing fly. It's so pretty.
Naked girly pictures. Love it.
Yeah. I heard that. Planes in the nude.
Wow.
That's
Beautiful.
great.
And you've got your battery in the fuselage?
What's that?
Your battery's in the fuselage?
Yeah, batteries in the fuselage. And I'll
That
show you
looks
the
like some really light wood, Bob.
It is light wood. That's part of what my son calls his inheritance.
Looks like some light wood. If you ever want to see some light wood, that's what it looks like.
Those
Love
are
it.
so slim to sell. My goodness. That
Beautiful.
looks great, Bob.
That's gorgeous.
Then again, I don't know anything Bob's ever built that doesn't look great.
Mhm.
Thank
Well, there
you.
was that one.
And it's got I broke my own law about not using battery magnets for the hatch mount. I put a magnet in here. And
Well, that sounds like it's pretty held on pretty tightly.
yeah, it's in there. You can hear it snap in place.
Yeah.
You're using a double magnet on that, Bob?
A single magnet.
Well, just single and snaps in that good?
That
Excellent.
sounds like a double magnet. That's how tight that sounded. Wow.
Put it back in again.
Wow.
Yeah. I know
Click.
that clicking sound
the,
is so contagious. You keep doing it over and over again. You love it, right?
look at the fit. Look at the fits, guys, of the canopy to the rest of the plane.
Yeah, I just
Mhm.
put the super fill in with the wax paper trick and got all that done. And the the cowl, the either fit. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're. I see what
I got
you're.
two more sets of fillets to put in on the bottom of the nacelles in here. But other than that, all the fillets are in. Weighs 23 ounces right now with 2 coats of epoxy on it.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. So your
That is
retracts are
light
timer
wood.
or a remote, Bob?
Well, they're on a timer on the Fiorati system, and the Fiorati system has an interesting feature. If anything goes wrong, if the motor shut off for any reason during the flight, the gear comes down and locks.
Nice.
Excellent.
And this is not electric gear. This is a mechanical gear operated by 3 micro servos, 3 separate systems in the airplane, and all of them added up are about 2 ounces lighter than using electric retracts.
Really?
Wow.
Beautiful.
So anyway,
Thank you for that show and tell.
Sharp.
That's
Yeah.
excellent.
I can't wait to see that one fly. That is beautiful.
You give us as many show and tells as you want, Bob. They're all wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are you
Well,
giving us a
here's
show and
one.
tell too, Howard?
No, well, I can, but I don't have that. I don't have anything very interesting.
That's very shiny. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That looks beautiful.
He was talking about your forehead, by the way.
Oh, thank
Mine too.
I can't
Mine
even.
too.
I can't even make this work.
I have a
Oh.
shiny forehead also. See my gleam there?
I still like it when you let your hair down at Christmas. That was. I've still got that picture captured on my iPad. That's just. I saw that the other day. I was flipping through pictures and saw that picture of you, that black wig. Man, I laughed myself silly. That was cool. What that almost.
I
looks
still
like
love those
Monaco,
pictures
it's
from
so
the old
shiny.
flying models of Bob Hunt, though, back when he was a hippie.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I have
I
a
went to-
question for I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
I went to Woodstock on a motorcycle. I was a hippie.
Very
Groovy.
cool.
Cool wasn't in then, Charles. It was groovy or far
Yeah,
out.
groovy. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a question from our chat box here, and it's for Dennis Adamison. You still here, Dennis?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So Dennis H, he says, Dennis A, I'm working on that Brodak P51 with your dihedral kit and was wanting to ask about the flaps. The standard plans say to epoxy the wire between the flaps, but again, that is on the standard flat wing. What did you do on your prototype build to join the flaps so they would not bind? Thanks in advance.
Basically, you attach the flap to the wing or the flap horn to the wing, and then each of the flaps goes on individually onto the horn. You follow what I'm saying there? Try to attach the flap with or the flap horn with like a bearing or a wrap on the you attach it to the trailing edge of the wing. And then I also, because the flap hinge line actually sweeps forward a little bit, where the flap horn is, I sanded it flat for the width of the flap horn. All right. So we get the horn working real good. And then it's relatively small dihedral and sweep. It really doesn't seem to bind up any or anything like that. You just hook it up normal.
And do you glue the flaps to the flap horn legs, or do you just glue the hinges in?
Well, yeah, definitely you have to glue the flap horn. You have to get it at least down where the wire is, because otherwise the wire will work on the balsa and stuff like that, and it'll get real loose. And on something like the Mustang, I think the flaps are only 1/8 of an inch thick, and the horn was 3/32, so you're just barely in balsa in the first place. So it's really a good idea to what I did is I actually poked a couple of cross holes in it through the top and bottom, and I just floated some thin CA into it that glued the horn in place. All right, and I did all that before it was covered. All right. Now you could do it the other way if you want to just, float some glue in the hole and stuff like that, and slide the flap on. But I think you need the glue not just to bond the horn to the flap, but you really need the glue to try to toughen up the hole in the balsa. That's why the thin CA.
Well, why use balsa? I use basswood, and I put an end cap on the flaps of basswood, and the horn goes into that. And boy, that makes it so much stiffer.
Yeah.
And I've been doing the same with aircraft ply.
Yeah.
Well, I've done the thing where you take a piece of like 32nd or 16th, you just put a blade in the flap, put a couple of those when you drill a flap in, or drill the hole into it, and that does a really nice job at distributing the flap horn load. So.
Yeah, and on the swept forward dihedral flaps of my little Focke-Wulf 190 profile, that extreme variation of the old Sterling Mustang kit. Anyway, I used rectangular brass tubing as a lucky box in there, and it seemed pretty darn smooth.
Yeah, that's the ultimate solution. If you can score some of that and build that into the flap. But again, the hard thing there is you can build a lucky box. It's the same thickness as a flap, and it's gonna break right off probably at the edge. It's really good if you could put something over and under it, like a piece of fiberglass cloth.
Yeah, actually on that over top of the lucky box, it might have been overkill, but I used 64th ply top and bottom.
Yeah, that does a wonderful job of carrying through and carrying the load onto either side. So
I do the same thing with the lucky boxes.
And Al Raby with his dihedral and swept forward and all that, he didn't do anything. He just glued the darn things in. And just
there's
put up
some to
with
it.
Leverage.
Wait a minute. On the Bearcat now, the Bearcat's got a pretty good size trailing edge on the wing. And instead of having that horn dead center, it's high.
That's right. Yeah, he raised it up.
And he also took the horns, and instead of them coming straight back, they bent them out some, because then the dihedral in the wing and the sweep forward in the trailing edge was taken up by that bend, and it didn't bind.
Yeah, that's right. He did the same on
because I have one downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm building.
And you can't argue with the man's success.
No, that's for sure. He could tell you more in 10 minutes on the phone than.
Yeah, he did.
Than most
he
people.
did some wonderful.
I'm sure
things,
glad I
but
got to know him a little bit before he died.
Control systems that I would have never do. So.
Yeah, he and there were several of them. Al and Bob Gieske and several of those guys. Bob Gieske surprised me more than anybody ever has at a contest, because he was at the Nationals with his brand new bear, the Super Bear, the big bear, with a 76 in it, and everybody is just awestruck at this airplane, and he's got it under a sheet to keep the sun off of it. It wasn't anything else. He's trying to keep the sun off of it, and I'm over cutting up, trying to see the thing, and I guess he saw me trying to look at it. So
looks nice, Howard.
Finally, he pulled. That is nice, Howard. Very nice. I like your decal, or it's not. I'm sure it's not a decal, but it really looks nice. Anyway, he comes over and he says, "Pick it up. It won't bite you. That is really sharp."
Cool.
He said, pick it up. I said, I don't mess with other people's airplanes. He said, well, I'm right here. He said, pick it up. So I picked it up and looked at it, and it was incredibly light. And he was telling me about the 1/16 molded parts and some of the parts on it. I thought 1/16, how in the world? But then he told me about the tissue, and I was just awe-inspired by how thin that tissue is, and that's what he would use on a plane. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't fly 35 flights a year. He flies 35 flights a weekend.
Wow.
And he keeps on flying. He flew a lot. And Bob's got the serious flap here. But some of those guys, it just got me that Bobby Hunt and a lot of the guys at the contest would show you how to make this thing work. It just blew my mind.
Wow.
Yes,
That
pretty,
looks
Bob.
pretty nice, Bob.
There's a basswood end cap. And then there's a piece of balsa wood to made it up to the fuselage real evenly, 16th inch gap to the fuselage side.
Cool.
But that you can then make a piece that has that shape to it, the end shape, that will go over that piece of basswood and act as flap tweakers. You can then grip that piece of basswood and tweak the flaps.
Very
Let's
nice.
thinking ahead.
I'm surprised that you tweak flaps. I'm surprised you don't have one of those gizmos in it like
Yeah, I probably will end up doing that, but this airplane doesn't have. And there's the elevator. It's the same,
same setup. Very nice, Bob.
Yeah, and you can see that it has the.
And that hole goes all the way through, doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't go all the way through, but it goes down deep enough that the drive leg of the horn doesn't hit the bottom.
I thought I saw it when you turn around. I thought I saw a hole there. Oh, okay.
Nah.
I see.
Very nice.
So how do you tweak it?
I have a piece of basswood that's larger that fits right over here. It's like a square with a.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Knock it down, and then I hold both of them, and I can then one.
So basically, you made a wrench.
Brainstorm.
And they won't break.
Now, is this,
Yeah, pretty
Great
much
idea.
you made a wrench then, Bob.
I'm sorry.
You pretty much made a wrench then to go over it.
Mhm.
A pair of wrenches.
Actually,
cool.
Joe Daly came up with a really neat solution for flap tweakers. He went to Harbor Freight and got some vice grips that have swivels in the ends, and he glued pieces of plywood to the plates on the end of the vice grips, and they would clamp right over the hard point in his flap, and you could tweak them, and it works.
Oh, I like
great.
that. That work on any flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of shows and tells if you want.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, well, flap. Let's see. Let me camera around. Here's the
ooh, that looks pretty.
here's the Lori Malila flap tweaker. It's a screw in the root of the flap, and I'll pull the pin on the flap and show you what's inside.
I like that.
Yeah, like if the pin will come out. Yeah.
I thought we're gonna get a number 16 on the Pro Stunt painting tips. Don't glue your flap horn. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So here's this little 16th inch wire coming off the side of the
Horn.
Control horn, and that engages in. So I don't think you can see it in here, but
Oh yeah.
engages something in the flap, and the problem is that this constrains the flap position fore and aft. So to match up with the hinges, you have to float the hinge in and out when you when you hook up the flap. So it has to be kind of precise. And I got it working, and it doesn't have much friction. So so that's one show and tell. Another is so we got this insignia on the airplane, the Kosciuszko Squadron insignia. I've told the story of this thing. This is for going to Poland. Well, this is a decal, and it requires a white background. So I painted this white circle on here with little white spots for where the tips of the scythes go, and other white things for where the handles of the scythes go. And then it's a little crude, but it pretty much lines up, and you put the decal on there. Well, on the other side, I put the white spot on upside down.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So I put on the decal, and it doesn't work too well. On the bottom, it's almost the same color, but on the top, it the blue turned to dark brown where it was against the artwork. So I mixed up some blue car paint and brushed on a little bit. Put the decal on, and it worked.
Looks good.
Yeah.
The one where the white spot was upside down came out even better than the one where it was right side out.
Yeah.
So Howard, have you tried out those those rod ends that we were playing with a couple of months ago? Those RC car rod ends that you ordered? Did you try them out yet?
Yeah, I got them, and I have them, but what I have in this dog is some IGUS rod ends. These actually, well, I got them from IGUS directly, but the Central Hobby sells them. They've got this plastic slippery stuff for a ball.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Because those metal ones that we tried, ordered in some more. I put them on that Vector 40. I haven't flown it yet, of course, but my God, are those things smooth.
oh, I got them. They're 3 millimeters, I think. So
Yeah, what I did for for threaded ends on that is I just went on and got 50 millimeter long 3 millimeter by 0.5 bolts and cut the head off, and then just took the finish off them and ground them down a bit, for gluing into the carbon fiber rod.
Yep.
That seems to work pretty handy.
that's what I did.
Very cool. Let me interrupt you guys. And Lynn Burrell, thank you for coming in. No, it's been a long time since you've been here, but thank you for coming in.
Man.
And Dennis H, he says, okay, cool. Thank you guys. I did put a 1/32 ply doubler on top and bottom over the horn leg in the balsa. And he goes, oh yeah, the Lucky Box. I remember that now. I could do that with the 1/32. And then he said, and finally he says, thank you for all your tips. All very helpful. And that's that.
And ask him to send along some of his tips.
Yes. Yeah, I have a
The more the
question, you
merrier.
guys. I have a question. I was on my K77. I had that carbon fiber muffler, and I wanted to support it because it started to fracture. And those saddles that Dave Brown sells that you would secure your tune pipe with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now those things probably have a real application in real life that are probably a lot cheaper than I can buy the Dave Brown thing. I'm wondering, where can I find those saddles? That's all I ever use in the whole kit. I mean, I think the kit costs like $550, the mounting kit, which has that saddle and other.
I'm pretty sure that is a proprietary item, and he had it injection molded.
Oh, really? Okay, I was curious. It just seemed like you would find it maybe as a pipe strap somewhere in some occupation, and I was just curious.
There are some electric parts that do that. I got them at Fry's Electronics, which has since gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. Well, you know, you look at Charles, $5.50 or whatever. Any extra hardware that you don't need for that, you can probably use somewhere else around your shop, making jigs or whatever.
Maybe. I was just thinking it's got to be a real life app, but maybe like Bob said, that he actually had them made.
Well, remember too, that there's only one hobby, spending money.
Spending money.
Yeah.
I've told many people that now, Bob, quoting
same
you, and
here,
I give
Bob.
you full credit for it.
Yeah, I've told that to many people too, Bob.
It's a Dean Hoppus original.
Very cool.
And especially when you're into flying airplanes and riding Harleys and whatnot. Yeah, it's I just define flying full-size airplanes as a hole in the sky you throw money into.
Yeah,
It's like a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you think a Harley Davidson is bad, buy a bass boat.
Hey, I don't know if I mentioned it Monday night or not, but last week I was taking out a new student to check out an airplane he was looking at buying block time on and stuff. And I was dropping my wife's Scion off at the Toyota dealer for a service. And he said, well, I'll just pick you up from there and we'll just go out. So he did. And he made me get in his car and he told me to drive it like you effing stole it. And afterwards, when it was all said and done, he insisted on me paying me my time. What it was a new mid-engine Corvette that I just ran the crap out of as much as I could on these on the roads we have here.
Nice.
I couldn't even activate the G meter, but man, what a car! And he insisted that he paid me for driving his new Corvette.
Nice.
Wow.
So that was a nice day.
What a job.
Yeah,
Terrible job.
that's like the one day I was paid for driving my Harley. Hey, Dennis, I got a question for you. Are there plans out there anywhere for your old Magister? Your Fugio Magister? Dead silence.
I don't know if he's even here yet anymore. Let me see.
We've talked about that here a number of times, right, Dennis?
Yeah.
Dead silence.
Turn on your mic, Dennis.
Mike's on.
Mike's on. No, there's no plans for it. And,
No, I always loved that
there are
airplane.
plans to
my
make
younger
plans,
days,
that's about
modeling, I
it.
saw
So-
that, and I think it was Model Airplane News or something like that, early 70s. And I thought, geez, that's so cool. That VTOL and everything. I
Yeah.
always thought that would be a neat airplane to do.
It's
I
so
mean,
low
neither-
slug.
Transporting a bum.
It would be neat to do with electric because then the head of the motor won't be sticking down.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been just one more thing for it. It would stack up nice. And then
And being a
after-
jet, the sound system would sound about right.
Yeah. Well, some of the electrics actually on startup, you do a slow startup on it, they actually make kind of a whining sound and stuff, something like a old centrifugal flow, early centrifugal flow
turbine.
jet engine used to make. You made kind of a whining sound as they were coming up the speed, and stuff like that. And first time I built my my Jack Chic Swinger jet, and that one there, when it would start up, it would make that kind of whining sound, as it was coming up the speed.
Uh-huh.
It was like added a realism element to the whole thing. So
Well, I know you and John have such an incredible amount of spare time on your hands that you should collaborate and put out a set of plans for that just for me.
Yeah.
Dennis is
I'm
trying to
sure
get a set of plans out of me right now that I promised him 2 years ago.
I'd build one. I'd build one.
I'd build one.
Come on,
Yeah.
Dennis.
There you go. You got 4 already, Dennis.
If you
Get
get
on
those, if you can get those plans done, I promise you I'll get the other plans. Make you a deal.
Are you trying to say
Alright.
something, Phil? Are you trying to say something, Phil?
No, I said 5. He said there's 4 sets, 5 sets.
Ain't I
I
a
li-
stinker?
I'll never live long enough. If I started building today, I'll never live long enough to build all the plans I have, but I do love to look at them, even the ones I don't ever get to. I love looking at them.
By the
I
way, I
had
think
that
Howard
alert,
had an
Phil.
answer to Charles' question for a couple of minutes ago.
You have an answer?
Where are you? Yeah, I think I got these at Lowe's and I've used them to mount pipes. I'll send you a couple.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
great. That'd be great. I'll see it when I see it. Thank you very much.
Look in the electrical department at Lowe's or Home Depot and find stuff like this.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Hey guys, I have a video here. I can't play the actual video for some reason, but I can probably, you can hear the audio. This is the twin spooling up, the first twin we built. I don't know if you can hear this or not. We'll give it a try. So you can hear what Dennis was talking about. Hold on a second here.
Sounds like it must be electric.
Yep.
Very
Did you hear
cool.
that?
Yeah, I sure did hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Sounded very cool. Yeah. Wow.
Bob, I finally learned what you meant about the gain. I got out there and it wall. I kept turning it down until it was constant. And then when I'd be going upwind, you'd hear the thing come on. And when I go downwind and cut off, I said, well, this is cool. I like that.
You have that G-force. If you have the G-force thing on, you really hear that a lot in wind going downwind and upwind in level flight. It really, very pronounced sound.
Yeah, I hadn't got that far yet.
Those active timers are just absolute magic. It'll add so many points to your pattern.
I can't wait.
So
to
between
get the
that and that
Revolution back.
Magister, then maybe I could go switch over to the dark side and go electric.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Part of what got me thinking about your old plane, Dennis, was remembering it was old friend of mine on air shows, Bud Granley, was flying one of those several years ago as one of his air show planes.
Mm-hmm. There was one for sale in Trade-A-Plane. I couldn't believe it. It was actually located up in northern Indiana, not far from where I live.
Oh yeah, they're cheap. They're cheap to buy.
Yeah, it was 85 grand for the airplane, like 5 spare engines and a few things. It was like chump change. I couldn't believe it.
What kind of airplane was this?
A
Magister.
full-size Fuga Magister.
Kidding me?
Full size, 85 grand with 5 spare engines and whatever. And the thing was done. It looked, in the picture at least, it looked like an air show airplane. You know, it was
Yep,
done
those
up in,
and
the
Nats
French
and all
trim.
those kind of airplanes, they're dirt cheap to buy. You know, they're kind of pricey to operate, but they're cheap to buy.
I guess I've read about it. The engines were, early jets and stuff. The airplane was basically made by a sailplane company, and they just basically put jets on the sailplane, to oversimplify it. And the air show routines they flew, they said throttle management was simple. They put it on full throttle and they took it off full throttle when they parked the airplane. That was the only way they could,
yeah.
They put it on full throttle and they'd fly the routine. And then when they were done, they didn't take it off full throttle until they parked. So
One of the downsides of the Magister as a jet aircraft, though, is no ejection seats in it.
Right.
It's kind of primitive, but that keeps the cost down too.
In some of their wars, they bought them for trainers and they put them into service as ground attack airplanes, and they were just totally unsuited for that. I mean, they're just really thin-skinned. They're lightweight. They got more in common with a sailplane than they do with a warbird.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like when they put guns on a Tweety bird, and sent them into ground attack in Vietnam. Kind of.
Yeah, let's see what could possibly go wrong, right? So,
yeah, right.
Going up that Fuga Magister, Dennis, and we talked about it here a few times. You were talking about drawing it up and getting plans available. I'd build one of those for nostalgia. If you draw it up, I'll build one.
That'd be great.
Oh.
It'd be fun to have the airplane
down. Everyone's on board.
Get that treatment. So,
wow. Hey, you guys, I'm going to interrupt. We're going to end the live stream. We still have the after party, but we're going to end the live stream now. And thank you very much for coming in. And if you are watching this, please, before you go, please hit the thumbs up, please, and consider subscribing, consider joining, and consider the super chat. Thank you very much. We had a really good show. We'll be back Monday. And hopefully this weekend you have a chance to go out there and you shop and build and fly and come back Monday and tell us all about it. So until then, we bid you well, farewell, be safe. And if you can't be safe, be good.
Can't be